Welcome to the Peugeot e-208, an EV loaded with tech and in my opinion now, but not initially, one of the best looking cars on the road, and definitely in its class. There's no bad angle here and it works from every direction, and I don't personally think it will age quickly. Peugeot have, of recent, set a very high bar to their new range. The e-208 comes fully loaded with LEDs at the rear and as expected, the same at the front. The headlights in particular are amazing. We carried out our normal buggy in the boot test and we weren't expecting it to fit, and it didn't. But it's no biggie. If you do drop the 60-40 rear split seats, it becomes very respectable and very usable. Supplied in this funky magnetic case is a Type 2 cable with these handy gloves, a nice touch, although a 3-pin plug is an optional extra sadly. Onboard charging, as standard, is 7 kilowatts, with an 11 kilowatt upgrade a factory option. And where applicable, the e-208 will take 100 kilowatts using the CCS, and that's impressive. Jumping in the front, leg and headroom is ample, and more surprising is in my driving position I found the rear pretty good too. The convenient USB ports will keep your rear seat passengers charged up on long journeys. I love cup holders, and you're well catered for in the e-208, but the glove box as normal is just for gloves, and still falls foul of the left-hand drive adaptation. The upholstery and finish is excellent, even on this lower spec Allure model. I had no comfort issues and was in the driver's seat for well over 6 hours. The switchgear is solid and very much what you'd expect to find in any Peugeot. This cluster of manual and touch-sensitive switches that look like they'll fall off at any point are actually excellent, very useful and sturdy. The days of balancing your mobile phone on the steering wheel are gone, as this funky little feature will come in handy while charging on long journeys. However, the interior is dominated by the iCockpit and its 10-inch capacitive touchscreen, which works very well. There's no lag and not too many layers to navigate. As normal, Apple CarPlay was faultless, Android Auto was okay, and this is standard on pretty much any car we've driven. The driver's instrument cluster is excellent and feeds back useful information in an easy-to-read manner while not overpowering your brain. Not easy to see here is the 3D effect, which really gives this whole setup an air of quality. People often air concerns over the iCockpit design and the lack of vision due to the steering wheel fouling the binnacle, but for me this wasn't the case, and in my natural driving position, my experience was perfect. Okay, let's talk prices. Going into an electric 208 isn't a cheap step, even in its basic format at the active spec. If you want all the extras, you'll need to spend over 4k more, with the GT coming in at an eye-watering £32,750. But if you can see past the price and monthly payments, you're in for a real treat. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today we've had the opportunity to have a go in a Peugeot e-208. Something I've not really heard a lot about. I think you probably know more about it as usual than I do, but it's quite nice.
You like it?
Yeah.
It is quite nice. It's very small.
I was just going to say that it is classed as a super mini, and it does have that feeling about it.
Yeah.
But I quite like it. It feels quite cosy and snug, and it's got some good manoeuvrability.
Yes.
That you'd find from a little car.
Yeah, definitely. We've tried our normal get the buggy in the back trick. That unfortunately didn't work, but we weren't really expecting great results. Although we can get it in the back of a Renault Zoe, which is also a super mini. So, and the dimensions of the boot are almost exactly the same. There's really nothing between them. So I was a bit surprised at that. I don't want to harp on too much about the size of it because it's based as a small car, but you will. If you're not used to a small car, then you will feel that this is small. So I can't really put it across any more than that. Something that sort of impacts that as well is the fact that the driver's instrument binnacle or the instrument display, the touch screen which is in the centre here, is quite intrusive. It's quite on you instead of being sort of laid back. But I suppose that's just dictated by the size of the car again. So, but for a 2-people family, maybe with a little one, then I think it would probably be okay.
Yeah, definitely. My sister has an iGo, and I think this would be something that would be a good replacement for her iGo. She's just had a baby, and if she wanted another small car, I think this would be something worth considering for her.
Definitely. What do you think to the performance? So there's 3 modes. There's normal mode, there's eco mode, and then there's sport mode. And we are currently in, absolutely no idea, but that's where we go. We're in eco, normal, sport. Okay, we're in sport. So
that's nippy. I'm being a little bit careful because the roads are really wet.
it's a horrific day, isn't it, for reviewing a car? Why would we pick today for this?
Storm Dennis.
Storm Dennis. Wow.
But no, sport mode, yeah. It is nippy. It's nice.
Good.
It's a nice drive.
It's all you need, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, in the real world, somebody who buys a Peugeot 208 isn't going to be looking at it thinking, right, what's a 0 to 60? They're going to be thinking, has it got enough get up and go to get me where I need to go and get me out of a situation if I need it? And this certainly has that.
It's definitely got that.
Definitely.
I just think the market that this car might attract is perhaps, hopefully, going to be the younger generation looking at maybe their first car, somebody who's just about to get their first job and coming out of university. And little features like that are going to entice them because it looks cool.
Yeah, it does. And talking of looking cool, the car itself I think looks beautiful. I think the styling is absolutely bang on the money. I do. I looked at it and I just went, yep, that's got it. That's perfect. I mean, we're just going past a Leaf just right now, a Nissan Leaf. And that, I think, in comparison, don't get me wrong, I think the Leaf is an okay looking car, more than suitable, but it's not a patch on this. Do it left. It's not a patch on this. This is stylish, and the image alone of this will entice people in, I think. No, you don't agree, do you?
No, I think before I saw this in the flesh, James had said to me, it's absolutely beautiful. And I thought, I have never seen an absolutely beautiful Peugeot. I've just got to say, nothing against Peugeots, fine, whatever, but I don't think I've ever seen one which is stunning.
No, I don't know.
What would you say a previous Peugeot that's been stunning?
I wouldn't say stunning, but I mean, this, I think they've got it. It's at the right time. It's the right car. I think if we're in 10 years, we'll look back and go, God, what were we thinking? But right now, it's got everything. It's got a bit of a mix of every manufacturer's cars in it.
I think that it's a nice looking car. I think because you'd said it's stunning, I think I was expecting something more. But I think, again, for the market, hopefully this will attract. I think it's perfect. Ooh, that's nippy.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has got that get up and go, isn't it?
It's definitely louder than some other electric cars that we've driven, but I can remember, I can't even think what it was now. We drove something and we were like, that is too much.
I-Pace.
Was it the I-Pace?
The I-Pace. For an 80 grand car, the I-Pace was noisy. But then the MG's got a bit of a whine, this has got a bit of a whine. There's some cars that do, but it's not an intrusive whine.
It's quite a relaxing noise.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a, you could go to sleep, white noise.
Yeah,
probably isn't a good thing if you're going on the motorways and stuff. But I can actually, that's one thing I'll say about this, I could imagine driving on the motorway, and a lot of super minis are not particularly pleasant to drive on motorways. Like my mum's Yaris. I've been on the motorway with my mum driving, and it feels like it's a bit rattly, but I don't feel like this would have that same feel.
I tell you what, how many miles in are we? 65 miles in, and we've got 99 miles of range. Okay, so we've been giving it some beef, but actually that's pretty good. But one thing that I've tuned into on other electric cars is the suspension noise, and because an electric car generally weighs more than its petrol counterpart, you tend to either have some kind of alteration made to the suspension, or the suspension suffers with being quite noisy and not as quick to react. But actually this is very quiet. The suspensions, they've done a great job with the feel, the road handling, and the suspension as a whole. It's very, very nice. Very impressed.
What is the range?
I think it's 216. I think.
You're kidding me?
No, 216. It's amazing, isn't it? It's got a 50 kilowatt hour battery in this.
That's actually really impressive.
So look at the size in here.
Yeah.
They've got a 50 killawatt hour battery under the floor.
Yeah.
And then look at the size of the Leaf in comparison.
It makes you wonder. That makes you wonder why haven't other manufacturers with bigger cars got better batteries, better ranges? Sorry.
I like Farley.
That's
It's a nice
good.
one.
Don't know.
The thing is, I suppose it's been progression, isn't it? Peugeot haven't been doing this for 10 years like the Nissan has, and the
No.
Nissan's slowly moved on and moved on and moved on. Whereas Peugeot have just probably come in, looked at the tech and gone, we can do this.
Yeah.
So, but it's a modular design battery as well, and which means it's very serviceable. And actually, I think what they've done in terms of floor space is excellent.
So the Regen, it's got a D and a B mode like the Leaf, and it's actually not too bad.
It's progressive in the way that if you put your foot on the brake, it increases. So you don't get full regen like you would say in like an i3 when you let off. You have to apply the brake to get that a little bit more. But it's got quite a lot of regen, I've noticed. Yeah, it's okay.
The driver's display, I think, is amazing. You've got loads and loads of different screens, haven't you, which we probably haven't fully managed to get our way through, but the sat-nav comes up in front of you, which personally I really like. I'm used to that in our car, and it's something I really like. It's much easier than trying to look to the left when you're driving. You can just look down and it's almost in your vision.
In the MG? Oh, the Tesla.
in the Tesla.
Yeah, okay.
So I personally really like that. I think it's a really good feature. The one thing I've really noticed is it doesn't seem to be using any range. And we have used this
That's strange.
car. We've driven it, haven't we?
That was at 93 miles, wasn't it? And now it's gone up
Yeah.
to 99.
That's a little bit odd.
It's not a bad thing, though, is it?
No,
It's
not
not a
to
bad thing.
complain.
It's had a hard day. I've got to say, it's not been treated lightly, and it's saying 99 miles of range, and yeah, it's we put it through its paces. So yeah, I'll be interested to see what it would do on like a full motorway range test.
Yeah, that
So,
would be interesting.
Yeah.
So we got out a minute ago to just take some pictures and bits and bobs,
Yeah.
and got very wet. But while I was doing that, I did have another look at the outside of it. And definitely from the front, it is an attractive car. I'm not saying it's stunning, but it is definitely an attractive car.
It is a very attractive car. So, as when Kate got out and had a look around the front, deciding it was now beautiful, after all, there was a couple of alarms that went off, and God, they are hideous, aren't they?
They are.
One of them sounds like a bomb is about to go off in the car, and the other is the seatbelt noise, which I know they're there for a reason, but it's just a little bit too far-fetched, I think. I think they need to just tone those down. Just a flashing light and a small bleep is enough, don't you think?
I think you need to know that before you get out the car that you've not put the parking brake on. I mean, you do need to know that. That's important.
Yeah.
But we've driven lots of cars where it's had much, much less noise.
Yeah.
And we've managed to be able to safely put the parking brake on.
Yeah.
But
It's one of those. That is possibly one of the only faults I can find with this car.
reversing camera, that's the spec thing.
Yeah, yeah, I think it is. I think overall, this is one of the best first attempts of an electric car to market, I think.
I've been really surprised, I have to say.
It's got some real get up and go in it. The drive is beautiful. The interior's amazing. You had a choice between this and a Renault Zoe, because this is about the similar sort of size. Zoe, bearing in mind that Zoe's got a new model coming out, ZE50, which we've got in a few weeks, so we'll be able to make a bit more of a direct comparison. But to a 40, would you have this over a 40 kilowatt hour Leaf? Zoe, beg your pardon.
This spec?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Apart from the boot.
Yes. You see, that's a big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
We couldn't physically have this because we couldn't make it work for us. But actually, no, the Zoe's still got it. I think the Zoe's got slightly more room in the back as well. You know.
Possibly. I think for me, this has got a kind of more luxurious feel to it.
Yeah. Okay.
This spec.
It's more expensive.
But that's the thing. Yeah, a Zoe's less money. So
Yeah.
I was only just thinking about how I could very happily drive this around when I'm at work. Very happily.
That's a good indication of whether you'll be happy with the car. I think. I think, yeah. What's it like up to speed if you get up to 60? What's the interior noise like?
There's definitely noise as you're
Yeah.
getting faster, but it's nothing offensive, is it?
No, it's really refined. They've done a good job here.
Yeah, the steering feels nice. This is in sport mode, and it's got some kind of quite a nice kind of solid feel to it.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I really like it. It sort of reminds me a little bit, people are going to really not like this comment, of my Clio 182 in the way that it feels
Yes.
against the road and how close to the road it feels and the nippiness of it and the
Similar sized car, though.
similar sized car,
Yeah,
the
so-
handling.
Yeah.
I used to love it. I know it was petrol, but it's before we got our first electric car, and I loved that car.
Yeah.
I loved driving it. It was fast, and this is like that. It
This
reminds me of
is
it, that.
so much further ahead, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if money was no object, would you have one?
But yeah, other than the practical factors, that would put me off, obviously. But if we didn't have that, then yes, I would.
They've done a good job, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done a really good job. On that note, we have to take it back.
We do.
So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter @KatePhantom, and we'll see you again soon with another episode.